Some of the greatest things that happened in my life happened here. I met my wife in this building.
It's almost like home, this place, because I've been coming here for over 25 years. You know, you get so fond of a place. And when you think of people who've worked here over the years, it's sad, it really is sad.
It's history, like, it is part of all of our lives.
Nice to see you, to see you!
Well, having spent so much of my life within these walls, I obviously am deeply attached to it. This is my home.
I'm getting all emotional now because it is one of the loveliest places ever. And I genuinely can't believe it's closing.
You walk down to those studios, you know the history that's there. It is the beating heart of ITV.
Overlooking the glorious River Thames, ITV's headquarters, the London Studios, has been a fixture of the skyline since the early 70s.
I've got a lot of history in this building.
Hello and welcome to Pop Stars, The Rivals!
And so for me, it is a bit sad, you know. I do feel like, oh, I'm never going to be in this room again.
But now filming is over and the studios have finally closed. After nearly half a century, ITV's moved to a sparkling new HQ.
I can't believe this is the last time I'll stand in here.
It feels really weird. The last show in this building.
Right, here we go.
There is a little bit of history gone.
We are the management.
So tonight, we're going to give this famous building the send-off it deserves.
Now it's happening.
I got a bit teary then.
Yeah, I know.
We are going to miss this place enormously.
So for one last time, I'm going to sashay through these famous corridors to discover the stories behind the biggest shows and the stars who made them. I tell you, if these walls could talk, well, let's be honest, if they could talk, they'd probably be hosting the show right now as the incredible talking wall. But I digress. Let's get back to those superstars who really put this building on the map. Now, one of my first jobs in television was in this building as a researcher on a daytime TV show called Light Lunch with Mel and Sue. It led to me becoming the audience warm-up man for the show. And one day, producer and presenter, an all-round great guy, Andy Peters, asked if I wanted to do a screen test. And from that, I got my first presenting job. That all happened here in Studio 3, where they now film Lorraine. So I grew up in here. I owe my entire career to Andy, and I don't know how I can ever repay him. Although if he was here now, he'd probably say...
Contactless.
I'm sorry?
Contactless. You know, like cash. Cash?
Settle for a hug?
OK. Awkward?
Slightly. Today, Lorraine and Loose Women are both filmed in the very same studio where I got my first break.
Boo.
But they're not the only ITV daytime shows to broadcast live from the London studios. 5 days a week, this place is a veritable conveyor belt of award-winning daytime delights.
I love it here because there's always a buzz. Like, the Loose Women are there, then you've got G&B, you've got This Morning going on, and it's all happening under one big umbrella, and it's fantastic.
And it all starts in Studio 5 with Good Morning Britain.
There we go.
I'm here at just before 4 o'clock. When I turn up in the morning, there's me and the security guard downstairs. When you have that clock tick to 0600, that's when the adrenaline totally kicks in.
This is Good Morning Britain with Ben Shepherd and Susanna Reid.
Morning, morning.
Hello there, good morning. It's just after 6 o'clock. Welcome to the programme.
And you're broadcasting from the London studios.
At 8:30, the Queen of Daytime, Lorraine Kelly, takes over from nearby Studio 3.
We've got a plan, and hopefully it all goes to plan. I think this place is like my second home. I've spent so much time here. When you walk in the morning, it's buzzing. Yes. And it continues to buzz 24 hours. I share a studio with Loose Women, so as soon as I come off air, the guys turn it round so fast. They are astonishing.
Hold your horses, Lorraine. We're getting ahead of ourselves because at 10:30, it's time for one of the longest-running daytime shows in the world.
Oh, there you go. That's perfect timing.
It was Richard and Judy who brought This Morning to London in 1996.
That's great, Sue.
Thank you very much.
After 8 years hosting from Liverpool's Albert Dock.
Hope you like the new home. As you can see, we brought most of the dock with us.
The tricky bit, actually, was diverting the River Mersey to run past the window here, but we got great plumbers.
And this is where the show's stayed ever since.
3, 2, 1.
That's 22 years of mad goings-on, mayhem, and Hollywood A-listers live from the South Bank of the Thames.
This is the best view I've ever had doing a talk show. I mean, that is gorgeous.
The thing I love is when Americans come and then they walk into the studio and you say, oh, you know, should I coffee? And they go, oh my God, is that the Thames? Is this real? They think it's a set until they go up to the window and then they realise the river's actually moving and the boats are actually moving. People want to come to this studio because it's got the most amazing view.
When I'm on an airplane and I'm flying over London, I always look down and see the ITV studios.
I do, and I never fail to get excited when I see that.
There is an energy in this building. You will be able to hear the laughter in the walls of this studio for a long time to come.
But today, amongst the laughter, there's also sadness. It's the end of an era for This Morning.
We've got to capture this for posterity.
Last
This is the last touch-up.
How are
The
you
last
feeling?
touch-up. You are touching me up for the last time. Oh, wow.
Well, that is that, isn't it? This is our very last opening from this view. Good morning to you. Happy Thursday.
It's a very special show. Mine and Holly's last one from here, our home on the South Bank.
It's a sad day, really.
I want a bit of it. I'm just trying to figure out which bit I want.
What are you going to take?
I want the studio sign.
I'd quite like the clock. A little memento, yes.
And I really want this.
Can I have this? Two.
Everybody's she's going.
Yeah? If I have that.
I've had my eye on those for a very long time. We shouldn't be saying this on telly. We should just go and take... Now that when that disappears, they're going to know it's me.
Sod it. I think we just take it.
OK.
But before Holly and Phil start dismantling the set, they've still got one last show to do. So we'll join them later on for their swan song from their studio on the Thames. Phil isn't the only silver-haired superstar to reign over the London studios. In the 70s and 80s, a very different kind of daytime show was broadcast live from the building, and this one changed the face of Saturday afternoon telly, and the wonderful world of sport was never the same again. Cue those aeroplanes and the banners.
Good afternoon, and the warmest of welcomes to World of Sport.
World of Sport, presented by Dickie Davis.
Now, a good deal of the show will be devoted to snooker, and the first major tournament.
Did the exciting stuff like rallycross, there was motorbike scrambling, there was wrestling, who could forget that?
Kent Walton's at ringside, and we join his commentary and the action in round 3, and there's no score.
Watching Dickie Davis do World of Sport and holding it all together.
Yes, congratulations to young Villeneuve and confirmation of the
flash of grey hair and looking so slick. I saw him in a Little Chef once. I was really, really excited that I got to meet him. I got his autograph as well.
Well, now it's time on the final World of Sport programme to look back over its 20 years' life and enjoy some of the best moments.
Despite often pulling in over 10 million viewers, the final whistle blew for World of Sport on the 28th of September 1985. But over 30 years later, memories still live on of a groundbreaking sports show where even those who worked behind the scenes became stars.
Oh my God, it's Chrissy! Chrissy.
Today, the 3 World of Sport typists who appeared in that final show, Janice Beale, Chrissy Shaw, and Joe Mitchell, are back in the studio, now home to Good Morning Britain for an emotional reunion.
Do you remember the size of this little tiny studio we're in?
Yes.
30 years,
Used to be
Chrissy.
our studio.
A lot of the time, people didn't even think we were typing because they were fixed typewriters. They used to say, "But you're pretending, aren't you?" And we go, "No, we're actually there,
Very
typing
pressurised.
5 copies with carbon copies, making
Oh, the
it all
carbon,
accurate."
yes, that's right. No mistakes.
Oh.
I've got TV Times.
Yeah, look.
Just for the girls.
Dickie had a pretty good moustache in those days, didn't he?
And a little quiff of hair.
On his little white melon streak.
Well, it wouldn't be a proper reunion without the man with that famous moustache.
Oh, I can't believe it. Lovely to see you too. Oh, it's a lovely surprise.
You're looking lovely to see you after all this time.
A long time, isn't it?
Oh, it's a long time.
I'm 89 now.
What are you doing, Grant?
Yeah, I'm doing well, yes. I can't believe it.
Do you remember the studio?
You all run down here, weren't you?
That's it,
And
yes.
The guys were on the other side, yes.
Yeah, sub-editors.
Yes.
And you were kind of here, weren't you?
4.5 hours of television and live in those days, and it was great to be live.
Well, West Ham couldn't improve on their 5th place in the table today, but they did achieve a good win.
The football reports will start coming in around about 4:40.
Today, Manchester United 3, Aston Villa 1.
And there's no script.
3rd place Watford were down on the south coast today, and they could only manage 1 point against Brighton in a 1-1.
But that was exciting. I just enjoyed it. If you enjoy something so much, you can retain the calmness that you need.
He's not in that. No, but this goes back to 79. We haven't changed a lot, though, have we? I don't think.
No.
We haven't changed a lot.
Well, I've changed a little bit.
at all.
I think.
Yeah.
I have great memories of this place, and there were lots to keep me warm in my age. Thank you for watching, but for the final time, that's all from World of Sport and the London studios. Cheerio.
Coming up, just who did Ben Elton have an uncomfortable encounter with in the tightest of spaces?
Honestly, we rode about 12 floors in the lift and neither of us spoke to each other. We just stood there like that.
And we'll reveal the London studios' most unexpected chat show moments.
I'm always on the job. People think that...
And there was a kind of titter around the audience. She didn't realise what she had said.
Tonight, this building's going out on a high.
Throw yourself off the ledge.
As we celebrate the shows and the stars who have graced the London studios.
I had a Jewish delivery, which is they knock you out with the first pain, they wake you up when the hairdresser shows.
The woman said to him, "Did you fall?" He said, "No, I'm trying to break a bar of chocolate in my back pocket."
Built in 1972 as the home of London Weekend Television, these were considered the best colour studios in Europe, producing hit costume dramas like Upstairs, Downstairs.
Hudson, how lovely to see you.
Welcome back, Mrs. Kilbridge. Hello, Hudson. Good morning, sir.
Classic sitcoms like On the Buses.
No!
And entertainment spectaculars from the likes of Stanley Baxter.
Bless my beautiful voice, so put in every key.
This place, with its beautiful design, it's very imposing where it was, it announced there was a new sheriff in town. The BBC never really shook off that idea of being an extension of the civil service. Here, felt a little bit more Hollywood.
So this is the last time I'll walk these famous corridors, and for some of the stars who've worked here over the years, it's like a second home. But unless you know it very well, it's a building that's almost impossible to find your way around. Fortunately, I know this place at the back of my hand. Just cut that bit out of there.
If you don't know your way around the ITV building, trust me, it is like a maze.
There's a certain pride that comes when you finally learn how to navigate this building, which, after 26 years in television, I now have. And they're closing it down.
Still don't know the numbers of the studio. But yeah,
Down there, 1, 2 and 3.
1, 2 and 3. Yeah, but which is like the medium-sized one? 2?
Yeah.
Joking.
Yeah.
The first time I came here, I came out of my dressing room and I ended up after half an hour
phoning security and going, I'm lost, come and find me. And I remember the guy saying, where are you? And I went, well, I don't know, I'm lost.
There's probably people roaming around now. You know, we're here in the 70s.
What makes me laugh is when, like, guests on shows will go, oh, no, it's fine, I'll make my own way out. Yeah, good luck.
Now, this building is home to 6 studios. Studio 1 is the biggest, and it's been home to some legendary entertainment programmes. As we call them in TV, shiny floor shows, because nothing screams entertainment more than a floor that's a bit shiny. And if there's one more thing that any entertainment show worth its salt needs, it's a presenter running down some stairs really enthusiastically. So I started my television career in these very studios 20 years ago, on the other side of the camera, working as a researcher. But I've never actually presented a show from the London studios. So whilst I still have the chance, there's one thing I simply have to do. Stare up! Oh, yeah! For over 45 years, the biggest names in showbiz have called this place home.
This iconic building is the home of entertainment.
The sound of Studio 1, the sound of audience applausing, is something everyone's familiar with because it's been on your TV every Saturday night back decades.
When they get that countdown, right, going live in 10, 9, and it gets to that 0, and they go cue. And you just go, right. This is entertainment.
In recent years, Ant and Dec may have lit up our weekends.
Thank you very much. Thank you, hello, and welcome to our brand new show.
But 30 years ago, another comedy duo were making us laugh in the same London studios.
You don't say much, stranger.
Lips ain't for talking. Lips is for kissing.
I loved Helen Pace. I was very much, of course, the family entertainer, but they were on much later on in the evening and really did push that comedy to another level.
You better pinch me to make sure I'm not dreaming.
They would push it to the limit.
Hello, Johnny.
Hello, Billy. Hello, everyone. It was a different type of comedy that we'd seen before, a different way of doing sketches. They set a bar that not a lot of people have reached, even to this day.
But Hale and Pace's most famous comic creations were the Stone-Faced Bouncers, the Two Rons.
Good evening. As you may or may not know, we are the management. We manage things. And tonight, we're managing a brand new show for two very funny geezers by the names of Hale and Hale. Hale and Pace.
Well, it's only one funny geezer then, isn't it?
It's 20 years since the series ended, but today, the management are back. Checking out the studios where they filmed that first show.
They're tittering. I don't like tittering.
I don't like any coastal towns.
I wonder where we are today.
That's right. We're in the studio remembering stuff.
Yes.
Or in our case, not much.
It does take you back there, doesn't it?
No, it does. Electric nights. Fantastic. You know, great audiences. We tried to treat it like a live show as much as we could.
Yeah.
And that hopefully helped, you know, maintain that continuity with the audience.
Yeah.
You know.
Better than canned laughter.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was edgy.
It's coming.
It has been accused of occasionally being schoolboy, puerile humour.
When a big job stings their patch, they are the guys who can handle it.
Smutty.
Today, Billy's making a baby with my wife, Jenny.
Hello, Johnny.
We wanted to try and push things not absolutely to the boundary, but there were elements of taste that were questioned within the show.
Let me through, please. Come on, let me through. Let me through, please. Let me through. Thanks.
And on the second series, show 2 or 3 got 13 million viewers at 10 o'clock on a Sunday night.
But even before getting their own series, Hale and Pace made one of their first TV appearances at the London studios on another comedy classic.
Saturday Live was our big break. It became a monumental platform for all new comedians coming through.
Listen, my name's Ben Elton. I'm going to be hosting the show tonight.
Groundbreaking, in-your-face and controversial, Saturday Live brought us a new generation of comedy stars.
My name's Craig Charles.
Good evening, my name's Emma Thompson.
We get into his car.
Oh, this isn't a story about how I threw up in the back of his car, is it? Go on, tell it, go on.
Saturday Live was, I think, an immensely influential show in terms of the comedy culture.
Kids grow up. They do grow up a lot faster these days. I mean, like, Wayne's older than I am, and I'm his mother.
Really, it kind of marks the beginning of the stand-up comedy boom, which continues to this day.
Well, let me ask you one question. If you were in a vehicle and you were traveling at the speed of light, then you turned your lights on, would they do anything?
By the time Saturday Live had finished, there was a stand-up comedy club in every town.
On Thursday, I may get a call on the blower from Mr. George Harrison Beatles band Liverpool Gizzer Job.
I remember watching that when it came on and it being like, wow, this was completely revolutionary.
We were the kind of young punks, you know, in the big boys' game now.
I could not believe it. I went in, I bought one shirt, I went out to boutique, the police stopped me and asked me where I got the money from.
I can remember getting in the lift and Tarby was in the same lift.
Tunes help you breathe more easily. Not if they're sung by Des O'Connor, they don't.
At the time, there was a little bit of semi-manufactured edge between, well, me and Tarby particularly.
My doctor's Russian, Strukov, and,
The idea of the old and the new.
Now, I went to see the doctor, and he said to me, "What's the matter with you, Tarbuck?" I said, "Well, you're supposed to tell me that."
Honestly, we rode about 12 floors in the lift, and neither of us spoke to each other. We just stood there like that. So. We felt like we were the kids who'd been let into the grown-up place, and, you know, I think we did a pretty good show for it.
My name's Ben Elton. Thanks a lot. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Sadly, I've never shared a lift with Jimmy Tarbuck. More's the pity. But working here as a researcher, I did get to meet many stars because over the years, this place has seen some extraordinary people coming in to reveal all about their extraordinary lives. From Parky and Rossi to Paul O'Grady and Graham Nortony. Over the decades, chat shows have been a mainstay of the London studios.
Seth Rogen, I mean, your name sounds to us like a delicious Indian side dish.
Yes. I know why I'm here. Why are you here?
Each host has brought their own personality to the job.
What's the secret to being a good interviewer?
Listening.
Is it?
Yeah.
See, I'm terrible at
I know
that.
you are.
In a bid to get their guests to reveal their innermost secrets.
They shoved me in this hospital, and they gave me this barium thing, you know, tube. They put a tube up the rear.
5 years ago, you had a bed scene with Jimmy Stewart.
I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. Don't tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I wanna.
20 years after Elton and Kiki, it was also these studios, well, actually a patch of concrete just outside them, that witnessed the birth of Girl Power.
It's amazing to think, actually, that they had their first live performance as the Spice Girls just out here on the South Bank. It wasn't a very nice day, if I remember.
If you really bug me, then I'll say goodbye.
And then, not long after that, a year or just over a year, they were doing an audience with the Spice Girls. That's how famous they became.
The audience of the Spice Girls was so popular that we actually had to ticket the dress rehearsal.
If you wanna be my lover.
But my favourite moment is Lorraine Kelly singing into a rolled-up copy of Smash Hits. Just genius.
Coming up next, it's Loose Talk as the Loose Women reveal their studio secrets.
All back when we had Madonna. They took over the whole of the corridor upstairs.
And it's finally time to say goodbye.
Studio, bye-bye.
Or if these walls could talk.
I need a longer arm. We'll join an emotional Holly and Phil on their last day by the Thames.
You all right? Yeah. Okay. It's sad. It's sad. It's sad. We'll miss it.
Yeah, I will.